one of the most nimble and tenacious entrepreneurs in India. Rohit and Kunal, it's always a pleasure having you back on the show. Now, the Snapdeal story is only one of the 13 inspiring tech startup stories that we will feature on the Young Turks book that will be published later this year. Over the next few weeks, we bring you more such stories, so keep watching this space. It's time now for us to head into a break, but coming up on the other side, a Young Turks exclusive with the founder of free calling and messaging app, Viber. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Young Turks. 20,000 Xiaomi smartphones being sold on Flipkart in just 2 seconds is proof enough that the appetite of the average Indian for smartphones is a large one. And piggybacking on this growth is Israeli-American entrepreneur and our guest on Viti International, Talmon, who founded the messaging and calling app Viber. Having started the venture in 2010, Viber today has over 400 million registered users globally, and earlier this year was acquired by Japanese internet service company Rakuten for $900 million. Now, Talmon still continues to spearhead Viber, and Young Turks' Megha Vishwanath caught up with him in Gurgaon in Delhi for this exclusive conversation. Let's take a look. Viber is a mobile messaging app that uses voice-over internet protocol to make free calls, send free texts, photos and videos to anyone across the world. Available on all smartphone platforms, Viber connects users across tablets, laptops and mobile devices. Betting big on India is the founder of this app, Talmon. Having already made a mark in the Middle East, Europe, Central and South American markets, Talmon believes India will be crucial to the next leg of growth for the company. Having set up a small team of 6, Viber recently crossed the 25 million registered users mark in India. A serial entrepreneur, Talmon founded 2 ventures in the file sharing and data transfer space before setting up Viber, and he shares his key takeaways and learnings with us.
The value of Viber is pretty much not in the tables or the assets that we own. We don't own anything. It's about the people. And the better the people that you hire, the better the people that you work with, the better company that you end up having. And if they're nice, as has been the case with Viber, then you also get to enjoy yourself. So hire the best people and hire nice people. That's my #1 thinking.
Talking about competition, talking about your application as such, I've read a couple of interviews and you somehow completely deny competing with Skype, and you don't see them as a competitor, even though they have voice calling and messaging services. So who do you see as your core competitor?
I think our core competition is really the other messaging applications. So it varies by country. We definitely don't see Skype as competition. The use case is so different. Here in India, our key competitor obviously is WhatsApp.
WhatsApp actually lists India as one of its top 3 markets. Talking specifically about Viber, where does India fall in your user base or, in your priority list?
India is an extremely important market for us. It's one of the only places where we have a local team, and was one of the first places where we set up a local team. So obviously it's extremely important for us. In terms of the number of people that download Viber every day, I believe that India is one of the top 3 or top 5, probably top 3 places for daily downloads now, because it's growing so much faster recently. It's one of our fastest growing markets in terms of both new users and usage. We're announcing now that we just crossed the 25 million users in India, which is an important milestone for us. And we're very optimistic about this place.
Despite being bullish on India, a major challenge for most over-the-top service providers was telcos raising concerns about free messaging service providers like WhatsApp, Skype and Viber. But earlier this week, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has apparently rejected a proposal by telcos to charge a regulatory fee.
The only reason why they would justify levying such a fee would be because it is competing with something else that they do. So today it might be voice, tomorrow it's messaging, the next day it could be email. You would have to pay any email provider. Gmail would have to pay them for the right to send email. Carriers are being paid for their data services. They're being paid by you and by millions of people who are watching this show. Every one of them is paying for their data services.
Help us understand what are the regulatory norms that companies such as yours have to follow in international markets.
It's good that you're asking this question. In Saudi Arabia, we and two other companies, Skype and WhatsApp, were presented with the demand by the government to give to them the contents of messages and voice calls and pretty much allow them to look into everything that users on Viber do. And if we don't do that, then they are going to block us. As it turns out, we said no. And we were the only company that said no and was blocked from continuing to operate in Saudi Arabia. We chose to fight for our values. It was not a business decision, it was a moral decision.
Tell us as to what is it that Viber is doing to differentiate itself from other competitors, WhatsApp, WeChat, Line, not just in India but globally as well.
Well, first of all, we follow a moral compass, as I said earlier, and that is we protect our users. We protect our users' privacy. Viber users can enjoy voice calls, high-quality voice calls at that. In many cases, even if the network is not so good, as on occasion might be the case here in India.
WeChat or Line, all of them have introduced various things from gaming to stickers to video sharing platform to BBM having its own channel where people can upload content, and that is something that they're looking to monetize. At Viber, since inception, has primarily just been for voice calls and messaging. So, take us through some of these features that you're planning to introduce in 2015.
Most of the features that we will be introducing in 2015 will be free. We continue to see users and usage as the primary goal for Viber. You can expect more things in the area of content, in the area of sharing, more ways to interact, maybe more things around groups. Groups are our fastest growing feature. So it's groups, it's messages, and only then actually voice. So looking at 5 years from now, I'd like Viber to be more ubiquitous. So everybody using Viber, everybody, everywhere, all the time.
Well, Talmon, here's wishing you the very best of luck from all of us here on the Young Turks team. On that note, it is time for us to take a break. But when we return, an e-commerce company that promises to mainstream